2024 is coming to an end, so what better time to do an end of year rundown video. I'm going to go through the whole year, all the trips we did, and have a little bit of a yarn about each one. I'm also going to put in here why I actually started YouTube in the first place, what made me start it, why I started it, and also where I want the channel to go, and potentially a few changes with the channel. So let's roll straight into it. First trip of the year, as usual, Exmouth blue marlin fishing. This was a really tough trip. I'd just come off the back of Coral Bay, came straight from Coral Bay to Exmouth. We had a really good trip in Coral Bay. It's a bloody beautiful red emperor. It's absolutely firing today. Some good fishing, mixture of good weather and bad weather. Rolled in Exmouth, got the same, a mixture of good weather and bad weather, but the bite had just absolutely shut down. We did quite a few days of marlin fishing, and there was a bit of life out there, but the bite had just completely shut down. Multiple boats going out every day, and some not even seeing a fish, hardly getting a bite, barely turned a reel. Absolute horrible trip. And we just come off the back the season before that of an absolute blinder of a trip. We raised and caught multiple fish. And down.
Yep. You good?
We already got one blue for the day and a bit of bycatch. That'll be dinner. 100% dinner. We're coming this year really hot, think we're going to absolutely kill it. But that's fishing, and that's really blue marlin fishing. It can really crush you. So real hard pill to swallow. PGFC, Complete Angler Comp. We continued our blue marlin losing streak. We did absolutely send it at the shotgun start, so that was probably the highlight of the trip. We had one good fish come into the spread, followed the boat for quite some time, teased him up on a few different lures. But when he did bite at the end, it was just a really lazy bite. Hit the lure really soft and would have slipped off the hooks within seconds. So he's still on it, he's still on it, he's still on it. Come on, drop that. Come on, come back, you baby. You're a pussy, you're weak as piss.
Oh, he's on us, he's on us.
Yep, he just hit me, he's on. So a bit of a non-event. Not the fish we were after. I definitely wanted something a bit more committal, and it was right at the start of the comp, for probably about 9 o'clock first morning. No one else had caught a fish, so if we did stay connected, it would have been a comp winner. But that's fishing once again. Annual South Coast rock fishing trip. This is a big hike out. I absolutely love this style of fishing and this type of trip. It really brings me back to my roots of fishing and reminds me of why I'm doing it to begin with. Just being out there solo, getting connected to nature, the feeds, the fishing, it's just absolutely unreal. And to be able to showcase it and bring you guys with me, it's absolutely unreal. The fishing here wasn't really that hot, but on the south coast, as usual, if the fishing's quiet, the blue groper fishing always prevails.
Shit. Need a wave. So I rigged up crab's leg heavy gear, first cast bang, this bad boy took it, absolute war.
So I'm landing a beautiful blue, getting some dinner sorted, some absolutely unreal scenery, unreal sunsets, cooking fish on the campfire. It really doesn't get much better than this.
Does not get any better than this. Fresh blue groper on the fire, sunsets like that. Man, tonight, this is why I'm out here, to see shit like this, man. I love this shit, eh? I absolutely froth it.
There's probably nothing easy about these trips. It's hard on your knees, it's hard on your back. You've got a huge heavy pack. It is really hard work getting out there. You go on a bed sleeping on a rock, so you're waking up sore. Your body's aching, but your mind is so free. Can't stress that enough. These trips, they are truly unreal. And I like to try and get out there at least once or twice a year. This year I could only get out once. Was going to try to do another trip towards the end of the year, but the weather just didn't play the game and had too much other fishing trips on. So had to miss out, but hopefully 2025 I'll get back out there for another one of these. Time to send it back to Jurien Bay for another blue marlin. Of course we didn't get the blue marlin bite, but Rexy did. He caught one in the Yalta craft, which was his first blue marlin in the Yalta craft. And of course, Rex being Rex, he hung it up. Which is a good thing for the game club as well. Brought in heaps of punters, brought in a lot of action. So absolutely unreal fish. Once again, we sent it at the shotgun start, had a bit of a cracker there.
All boys, thanks for joining in for the PGFC Jurien Bay WA Open. Thanks for coming, good luck today, play safe, let's go get some.
We did do a bit of other fishing, a bit of dewy fishing and that, so a little bit of bycatch. Life's only as hard as you make it, isn't it? Outfish your mates with a jig. What it's all about, isn't it?
Oh, I love it.
Why did I start YouTube? I actually started YouTube not for anyone else. I started YouTube for myself and the boys. I started it so that I'd have a collection of videos to look back on over the year. So kind of like a compilation of actually what I'm doing now. Got this video and it's got all what I've done for the year. I just wanted that for me and the boys to be able to look back on and piece together each moment in time that we did. And so far it's been absolutely epic that me and the boys can just look back on a video. Dirk Hartog Island, for instance, many years ago, bang, we've got it on record. We can look at what we did, look what we caught.
Boys, the line! First WA Western Australian Bill Fish double. G, what did I say? Love you, G.
And all those moments in time, they're all captured and we can reflect on them and look back on it. When you go on trips, yeah, sure, you get the photos, but a lot of the time, all the moments, you remember a lot up here, don't get me wrong, but a lot of the moments, they're lost in time. They're just forgotten. Whereas with video and with YouTube, you can look back and you can all reminisce on it. And we do that all the time. We look back at the old videos and look at the back of the old times. I do have a big regret, not actually starting this earlier. I had many epic land-based game captures, the Spanish mackerel, the wahoo, to name a few. I really wish that I had better. I've got footage of the sailfish, but I wish I had footage of like the 40 kilo Spanish mackerel. It would be absolutely epic to be able to look back on this now and have a look how we caught it and what we did. Unfortunately, yeah, all I've got's photos. Those times are gone. But yeah, moving on forward, at least now I've recorded everything and I can go back and just we can look at what we did, and it's been absolutely epic. From there, when I started these videos, I started looking at a few other YouTube channels. I didn't really watch much YouTube back then, didn't know what it was until I really sort of wanted to compile these videos. Started watching YouTube myself, looked at these YouTube channels and, you know, don't mean to be rude or anything, but just thought, man, I can absolutely blow these out of the water. So that gave me a lot of drive to make more videos and push myself a little bit harder to go out and actually make these videos. You know, like I was always going on trips, but it just pushed me a little bit harder to go, get back from a trip and go, you know what, I'm gonna go on another trip. And that's what I've done. This YouTube's really given me a lot of drive and a lot of inspiration to just keep pumping them and go on more and more trips. So we're slowly but surely getting there, trip after trip, we're blowing them out of the water, baby. It was time to go on our biggest trip of the year, the one we've been planning on the most. My favourite time of year to fish anywhere is May. I think April, late April, May, it brings the best weather, West Coast wide. So that's when I plan my biggest trips, and this year was no different. This year we plan to go to the Montes, fish Montes and Barrow Island. Living out of Onslow, we went up for about a month, and we just chose all the weather windows. We just waited for the good weather and then sent it out the islands. Staying out there sort of 4 to 6 days at a time. Over that month, I think we got 4 good trips in, so we weren't really sitting around that much. It was a lot of action-packed. We got some awesome weather and we got some awesome fish, man. 30 meters. That is the biggest trout of the trip. Trout of the trip on the roughest day. Full yeah. But this trip, obviously, once again, not just about the fishing. Yeah, we absolutely killed it with the fishing, but it wasn't just about that. The epic scenery, the epic anchorages, mad feeds, and of course the highlight of the trip was being able to get to Rankin Bank. I've wanted to fish Rankin Bank for many years. I always thought I'd have to properly plan a trip there and do it at the very start of the trip, but it wasn't really the case. We'd already been out at sea for a few days. I did the calcs on the fuel and realised, man, I've actually got a chance that we could hit this at the end of the trip. So we're probably, I think, 5 days in, and we hit it on the 5th day. Still making it back with enough fuel. Absolutely epic place. We did a mixture of pelagic fishing and demersal fishing. I think if I went again, I'd probably capitalise more on the pelagic fishing because it is an absolute pelagic hotspot. The idea behind my channel and the way I film my videos and the way I want my videos to be portrayed is that the viewer feels like he's actually there. He or she is actually there on the trip with us. That's what I'm trying to do, and that's what a lot of people have told me, that, mate, I feel like I'm actually on the Haynes Hunter with you guys. That's what I'm trying to do, and that's why I put basically everything in. There's a lot of things that I don't cut out. I try and keep it as real as possible, and I try and bring that viewer in, that they are with us on the trip. That's the whole idea of Westcoast Salt, to bring the viewer with us on the trip. Dew runs in between this, absolutely epic to be able to get these awesome fish in our backyard. A little bit of bycatch as well. Dew drop, that's a 200 gram jig. Fishing 50 pound. It's a war zone out here. Not everyone's gonna make it back alive. Fishing with the boys, can't really beat it. So filming YouTube has been really good for myself. It's ignited a new spark and a bit more flame into fishing for me. Rewind many years. I've always been into graphic design, photography and videography. Many years ago I was into drift racing, and that's what I started filming and photographing and doing that for. I've always been into fishing, but not so much the videoing of fishing. Bring back to these years, starting to film fishing has just been, it's been unreal for me. It's unrolled a whole new set of skills, a whole new set of challenges. Fishing as a whole, it's probably not the easiest sport, but when you try and film fishing, it becomes even harder, and it's a whole new set of skills that you've got to master. So that's been really good for me. With fishing, a few years ago I started getting bored of a few things, like especially land-based game. I was just, you know, how many Spanish mackerel you can catch. I started getting really bored of it. But introducing filming into fishing has just opened a whole nother ball game for me. So it's been absolutely unreal. Yeah, as I say, trying to catch a Spanish mackerel, yeah, it's pretty hard. You try and film catching a Spanish mackerel, it's even harder. Blue marlin fishing, yeah, catch a blue marlin, it can be tricky. Try catching a blue marlin and filming it, it's even trickier. So that for me has brought like a whole nother set of skills that I've had to sharpen up on and learn. And it's been really good for me to really ignite a new spark into fishing and fire up something different. So another great thing about filming for YouTube, I believe that it makes me appreciate different things. There's prime times for filming. First thing in the morning and sunset. Two magic times for filming. When you're not doing YouTube, sometimes you miss these times, or you don't appreciate them, you don't take them in. Whereas now, pretty much every sunset, every sunrise, I'm up, I'm filming, trying to get the right angles, trying to do everything right, get the cameras, but you start appreciating it and you start watching it more and you start looking forward to these times. So for me, that's been really good. Our next trip was Dirk Hartog Island. This trip we actually wanted to make it back to the Montes. I wanted to hit Rankin Bank and give it a real good crack. I think we had about a 3-week window off work, but the weather just didn't really play the game at Rankin Bank. So we had a window to go to Montes, but it just wasn't really enough to send it to Rankin Bank. So we decided against it and we went a bit closer to Dirk Hartog Island. This is the first time fishing Dirk Hartog Island for me on the boat, and it was really sentimental because I've spent so much time on that ledge. Spent so much time at Dirk Hartog Island, always looking out onto the water thinking, I just want to hit this in the boat. And this is our opportunity to finally hit it in the boat. I'd really always wanted to camp at Turtle Bay, and it didn't disappoint. Even though one night we really struggled with the sleep. It's not the best anchorage. It's a beautiful spot, but if the wind kicks in, it isn't the best sleeping anchorage. Nonetheless, we had an absolutely awesome trip. We got a mixture of of good weather and a bit of rough weather. We actually had a 4 metre swell come in, but it was still fishable, so some pretty serious weather there, but it was still fishable. And of course, seeing the killer whales. I'll probably never get to see again. It was truly unreal being able to see that and being able to capture it, showcase it, bring it to you guys, made it even more special. The fishing at Dirk Hartog Island, in close, very sharky, almost 100% tax rate in close, but once we got out the back and got out pretty far, it was actually, the sharks were actually really good and they left us alone. We got some really good fish. We really couldn't get away from the Rankin cod. Wherever we went, we just seemed to get bit by Rankin. Probably a good problem to have. I don't know what to say, but we've caught a few Rankin cod today. This trip was really good as well with the anchorages and cooking the feeds. We seemed to do the damage on the fish really early on, so a lot of the days we were coming in at sort of midday, 1 o'clock, and that enabled us to really make the most of the trip and start enjoying the other things, finding these epic anchorages, and also being able to take the time out to be able to cook some feeds and get some really good footage for you guys of the scenery, the epic shores there, and being able to capture the epic feeds as well. We had some most memorable feeds. The crabs, probably the best feed I've ever had on the Haines. Absolutely unreal. We also caught some huge pink snapper. What an absolute weapon of a pink snapper. Have a look at the hump on that thing's head. That's on the Vex Dewdrop 200 gram. This thing went absolutely hard. We're not a big fan of pink snapper. Normally I'm not really a big fan of pink snapper. In Perth when I get them, I'm always that bloke that's always complaining about pink snapper. Don't really rate them at all. But in Dirk Hartog Island, we got some really big pinks and I really started to rate them as a fish more. I was actually happy to catch them. I was actually loving getting photos of them. So I brought a bit more of a different love for that species for me. Changes with the channel. You might have noticed over the last few episodes, I've been slipping in a few swear words here and there. For the most part of Westcoast Salt, I've been editing out all the swearing. Now, there's a few things here. Yeah, I don't want to portray myself in a certain way for kids. I don't think it's good for kids to listen to swearing. On the other side of editing, I try and leave a lot of things in. I don't cut much out. I try and keep it as raw as possible, to keep it as real as possible, so that once again, the viewer can immerse in it and it feels like they're on the trip. So cutting out swearing to me felt like I was cheating the system, right? I just want it to be as real as possible and as genuine as possible. And I'm not gonna lie, me and the boys, we go out, we swear here and there. Anyone who's been out on a boat, they all know the first thing that someone says when a big fish comes up boat side, someone on the boat says, "Fuck yeah." So for many years I've been editing all this out, but from now on moving forward, a lot of it's going to stay in. Now I do understand a lot of kids watch this, so we're already wary of our swearing. We'll try and keep it to a minimum. Yeah, I understand kids are watching this, but probably watching us swear and hearing the words that we use, probably the least of your worries compared to what else they're watching out on the internet. So I'm not really that phased, and I am going to bring a bit of swearing into it to try and keep the channel as real as possible and really as genuine as possible. Pretty much the last trip of the year was Canal Rocks. We went down, us three boys, going down thinking we're going to kill it. It was actually a really quiet day. We couldn't even get a bite until about midday, but Rexy coming through with the goods, producing the fish once again. Rexy on the bait.
Yeah, boy!
That's oh, look at that.
Slow day.
That's what you call a West Coast talk shit.
Life's only as hard as you make it, guys. Bogan axe, bottom meat.
Good fish.
Yeah, boy!
Plans for 2025. We've got an awesome year planned. I'm not going to do too much yarn about it. I'll just let the content do the talking. But as usual, start of the year, we're going to be narrowing down and chase a blue marlin. And this year we're going to be getting bit. That's a guaranteed. No, nothing's guaranteed in blue marlin fishing. I shouldn't have said that. After that, our May trip this year is going to be a trip to the Kimberley, which I'm super excited about. Myself and Rex, we've never been there before. It's going to be complete virgin ground, so we're absolutely pumped about going and exploring at that. We're gonna go for quite a while. We're gonna see how many days we can do camping out on the boat. So it's gonna be a huge trip. Can't wait to get out there. Take you guys with us. Let's see where 2025 takes us, baby. So the channel has grown immensely in the last 12 months. We're noticing everywhere that we go, we're getting huge support. All the small towns, everybody is coming down. So many people coming down and speaking to us at the boat ramps, saying how much they're watching the channel, how much they're loving the channel, loving what we're doing. So that really gives us a lot of drive to keep going. It's absolutely epic hearing people's stories, inspiring a lot of people to go fishing. A lot of people have told me, yeah, they gave up fishing, they don't go fishing, started watching the channel, and it's inspired them to get out and go fishing themselves. And that's what this channel is really about as well. It's to inspire people to get off the couch, you know, and stop watching YouTube. That's what this channel's about. Stop watching YouTube. Get out there, go fishing, and go and hit these places we're going to. Get out there and explore this beautiful coast that we got, because it's absolutely amazing, and obviously we don't want to be the only ones exploring it. Get out there, give it a crack yourself. A huge thanks to all those guys watching. Obviously, if you want to hit the store, westcoastsalt.net, get yourself some merch. I've also got these, fresh in stock, Westcoast Salt, Occy Billy, hooded fishing shirts. These things are absolutely amazing. We've been testing them with the Mission Apparel for going on 2 years. We've been testing them a long time. They're finally here. They are by far the best fishing shirt on the market. You will not be disappointed. So head over westcoastsalt.net. Of course, we got the shirts, we got the hoodies, and of course we got the West Coast wedgie. So protect your jig rod, get a wedgie up it. Thank you for all the support. We will see you in 2025. Ooh bloody roo. We see you on the next one, baby.